Reports design is one of the most useful skills needed as a data analyst. So in this new course that we are starting today called Reports in Power BI, you will learn the complex data story technique needed to build dashboard, including using button, bookmarks to create more interactive, beautiful, stunning, and eye-catching data visualization dashboard. So welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Excel Island, where the goal and objective is to learn and master the Microsoft Power BI tool over the next 100 days. And today is day 56. We are starting a new course. I think this is the 14th course we are starting so far over the past 50 something days, 56 days. So we've covered 14 courses, and each courses actually contain 4 chapters each. And the total course we need to cover, I think, is 17 or 16, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, 17 courses. Yes, now, so we're starting a new course today, which is called Report Building or Report Design in Power BI. So we're starting the first chapter, which is Power BI reports. You learn the difference between reports and dashboard. I think most people usually confuse and misunderstand that report is actually different from dashboard in every data visualization tool. So that's what we'll be covering on today's live stream. So also every data set exercise for Power BI files that we'll be using for the next 100 days of learning is already linked under the YouTube description. Do make sure to download those files and practice along with me. If this is your first time on the channel, my name is Abatan Sheriffdeen, and our goal on this channel is to learn and become a data professional, a data analyst, a high demand data analyst. So we are learning all about Excel, Power BI, or SQL and Python on this channel. And I also share my knowledge about freelancing, and now I've become a top rated plus freelancer so far on the Upwork platform. So without further ado, let's jump back to learning. To catch previous live stream on the live stream tab on the channel, when you go to the channel, you see previous live stream on SQL and Power BI on the channel. Very soon we are starting a Python live stream also. So do what to support the channel by giving the video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. That's all you can do to support the channel. But you can do more to support the channel also. So I'll just go back to my dashboard real quick on the DataCamp platform. We're actually using the DataCamp platform for this learning journey, and it has been amazing so far. So if I go under the career track section real quick, under the career track of the DataCamp platform, you can see we're actually enrolled to this career track called Data Analyst in Power BI. We've actually covered Data Analyst in SQL. This was what bettered the idea. When I started this fun way of learning, I actually started with Data Analyst in SQL. Then we moved on to Data Analyst in Power BI. Definitely the next challenge we'll be doing for 100-day period is the Data Analyst with Python challenge also. So do what to subscribe right now and put on the notification bell so you'll be the first to know whenever I go live or drop a new content on the channel. So I just click on my data analyst in Power BI. We're actually 76% through audio career track. If I click on that, so we jump back to where we stop on day 55. You can see 17 courses estimated for 48 hours of learning. And we've covered from introduction to Power BI all the way down to this course number 14, which is reports in Power BI. Our last course that we learned was trend analysis in Power BI. So without further ado, let's get back to learning and welcome to day 56.
Welcome to this course on building reports in Power BI. My name is Kevin Fiesel, and I will be guiding you through this part of the course. Before we jump into this course, we want to ensure that you are fully prepared for the exercises that follow. In this course, you will build upon all that you have learned in prior DataCamp courses. For this course, we recommend taking our data visualization in Power BI and intermediate DAX in Power BI courses before continuing. In this video, we will compare dashboards versus reports, making a clear distinction between the two. Dashboards let us see and act upon a critical business or operational metric, possibly even in real time. By contrast, Power BI reports give you more detailed information that won't fit on a dashboard. The kinds of reports we will build will feel more like applications than dashboards. Another key difference is that reports can be embedded with slicers and filters. Therefore, a summary table that shows only monthly sales can be filtered down into a category to see how each category performs across different months. Dashboards may not have this interactivity. We may see monthly and category-wise sales values in different tables or visuals. Users need to look at the two different tables and find the differences. One key difference is dashboards provide a single view where everything is available without manipulating the dashboard. By contrast, Power BI reports can contain multiple pages where we can interact heavily with them. Reports will be the focus of this course. Let's clarify when we might build a dashboard versus creating a full report. Dashboards are intended for rapid analysis of the current situation. Your users need to see the current status of some systems and act upon that information. By contrast, reports are intended for detailed analysis. Dashboards cater to a wide variety of users, including cases where the dashboard is shown on a television or a monitor to track current status. By contrast, with reports, we expect a user to be at a PC with a keyboard, mouse, and large enough screen. Before we look at the goals for this course, let's not forget about paginated reports. So, what are paginated reports? First, it's important to understand that Power BI is a screen-centric medium, meaning that we use the product on screens. But what about times when we need to print something out? This is where paginated reports come in. These are, quote, pixel perfect, unquote, reports, meaning that the printed copy of a report looks just like what you see on the screen. You can create these in the Power BI Report Builder tool, a separate download and installation from Power BI Desktop. To learn more about paginated reports, we'd recommend taking our course, User-Oriented Design in Power BI. By the end of this course, we will work towards building a complete report. We will focus on creating a report with multiple pages and different methods for navigating between sections. We'll then add an extra layer of interactive design, giving users a feel for what they've selected. Finally, we'll take advantage of the Q&A visual and let users tell their stories. After completing this course, we recommend taking Report Design in Power BI, which will focus on the overall design, custom themes, and mobile design. The exercises will use Wake County, North Carolina budget watchdog data, and the videos will use food inspection data. Wake County, North Carolina is the home of the state's capital, Raleigh. This county has made available a broad array of data, including the Budget Watchdogs dataset we will use. This dataset tracks every purchase the county makes over the course of a year, covering everything from salaries and benefits to bus tickets and meal reimbursements. The county also plans how much they have to spend as a budget. The data we will use covers fiscal years 2017 through 2019. The fiscal year for Wake County begins on July 1st of the prior year and ends June 30th. So the fiscal year 2019 started on July 1st, 2018 and went through June 30th, 2019. Now that we've walked through the expectations for this course, let's dive into the data.
Okay, I think we understand the difference between reports and dashboards and when to use either report or dashboard based on your analysis. So report or dashboard, keep your audience intent in mind when determining whether you should create a dashboard or a Power BI report. Given the following scenarios, when would you recommend a dashboard and when would the reports be better? So drag each scenario into the correct category. So the CEO wants to track sales measures and the company's stock price over the course of the day. Let's go for a dashboard. The sales department needs to review recent sales data while on the road using nothing but their phones. Okay. The sales department wants to replace an existing Java application which controls their sales pipeline with Power BI. Well, let's go for a Power BI report there. So the accounting department wants the ability to drill into invoice, interacting heavily with Power BI elements, definitely reports. A machine worker needs to monitor temperatures at real time. Temperatures are real time, focusing on one activity at a time. Let's go for a dashboard. So a data analyst wishes to provide a guided tour experience for the C-suite to review annual results for each major vertical. Okay. Oh, we nailed it. So we understand the difference, the major difference between a report and a dashboard. So we can see the difference between dashboard in Power BI and reports in Power BI. Remember that these reports are going to differ from the pixel perfect report offered with Power BI paginated reports. So I think Power BI paginated report is an entire application on this one. I've never even opened it up. I have it downloaded on my laptop before. So let's continue. Increasing interaction.
Welcome to the first demo. Let's start by taking a quick peek at our dataset, which will be quite different from the one you will use in your exercises. On the model view, we can see the basic structure of our data model. Our primary fact table is food inspections, which has the date and score for each restaurant inspection. Scores range from 0 to 100, with 100 being the best. Restaurant details are available to us in a restaurant dimension, and the key between restaurants and inspections is the restaurant's HSIS ID. We also have food inspection violations, which include a description of the violation, text comments, and a numeric value representing how many points were lost due to this violation. Severe violations, such as employees not washing their hands before touching food, lose more points than less severe violations. An example of a less severe violation would be a dirty floor. Finally, we have date dimensions that tie to critical inspection, violation, and restaurant open dates. Next, let's create a couple of DAX measures. First, on food inspections, let's add a measure called number of inspections, defined as the count of inspection keys. That way, when we filter on some criteria, we'll see the number of inspections performed given those criteria. On the violations table, we'll create two measures. One, which gives us the number of violations, and another, which sums up the number of points lost. These will perform a similar purpose, but for inspection violations. Let's rename the current page to Overview by right-clicking the Page tab and selecting Rename Page. We'll start with a simple overview page with a clustered bar chart that includes the number of inspections by the inspector. Let's add a table visual that includes details on a given inspection. We'll pick the inspection date as an integer key, the restaurant's HSIS ID, the restaurant's name, and the number of violations found on that day. That bar chart is a little tight, so let's give it some room by removing the y-axis title. To do that, navigate to the Format, drill into the y-axis, and turn off the title. It's still a tight fit, so we will select the table and right-click on the number of violations, renaming it just for this visual to Violations. This overview page is acceptable for now, so next up, let's create a new page called Inspection Report. This will take a drill through field, inspection key. Note that adding a drill through field automatically creates a back button for us. We'll talk a bit more about buttons in later videos. It might be nice to see where in town a given restaurant is, so let's add a map visual. We'll connect the restaurant's Y value with the latitude and X with the longitude. It'd also be nice to see a bar chart with the violation types. We'll use the violation code for our axis, the number of violations for values, and include the short description as a tooltip, as it's unlikely the general public will know what these North Carolina statutes mean. Let's return to the Overview tab. To effectuate the drill down, we will need to add the drill down filter column to one of our visuals, and given that the table is already at the inspection level, it makes sense to add it there. After doing so, we can right-click on a row, navigate to the drill through on the menu, and select the inspection report. This shows us exactly where the restaurant is and the recorded violations. Let's return to the overview page and add a scatter chart. We will include the number of inspections on the x-axis, the average inspection score on the y-axis, the facility type as the legend, and the count of HSIS IDs. This gives us an idea of the overall score by category, with public school lunchrooms rating the highest. To see this change over time, let's bring the inspection dates year and quarter as the play axis. Now we get a dynamic view of how things have changed over time. Let's also change the format of the y-axis to start at 90 and end at 101, as inspection scores rarely dip below that value. Now we have the beginnings of a report. There's still a lot of work left to do, but take these skills with you as you do the exercises.
Ooh, there are some cool features there. I think I saw the scatter plot idea, which was quite interactive. So extend the over budget report. So let's work with our own exercise and try to see what we can do. So extend the over budget report. So we have a big idea for a report we want to make available to the public, and we need your expertise to get this done. So the first page of this report should show whether the county exceeded its budget. That is, if the actual expenditures on a project or program exceeded what the county had been prepared to spend on its coming into the fiscal year. So we would like to start by including the latest fiscal year of data, which is fiscal year 2019. We also request that you add DAX measures to the expenditures table instead of creating a separate measures table, because we only have one fact table. I want to keep numeric measures located there. Okay, interesting. Okay. So load exercise extended over budget reports. So I just load the exercise from my local computer here. Let's see. So this is coming up. So from the exercise folder on the desktop, we name the page to over budgets. So I think what we need to do first is at least take a little peep into what the data set looks like, so you can understand what you are trying to build the report on. Okay. This Wake County Word Dog fiscal year 2019 over budgets. Okay, we really just have, we take a peep at the data view. We have cost centers, expenditure line items, expenditures, funds, and recorded data. We look at the model view. We have a very tiny data model. So we have one facts table, then we have 4 dimension table, which is quite easy to see there. You can see we have the funds table, we have the cost center table, we have the recorded date. This is our dates table, definitely the date table. And we have the expenditure line item table. And you could notice that most of the relationship is 1 to many. You can see 1 to many, 1 to many, 1 to many. So this is a simple star schema data model, pretty straightforward. So let's see what we can do based on the instruction. So I think we have to create a new page. We have to rename the page. From the exercise folder on the desktop, rename this page to over budgets. Let's rename the page over budgets. So we name the page over budgets. Then the next instruction says add a page level filter to include only expense reports within fiscal year 2019. Use the fiscal year column instead of the recorded date dimension, as recorded dates for an expenditure may be in a different calendar year than the fiscal year. So to add a page level filter, so a page level filter is just a filter on all pages, but filter on this page. A filter that is actually focusing on this particular page at a time. So we are to go to the column fiscal year. So I think that should be uh, we are using this column here called fiscal year from the expenditure table, not from the recorded date table. So our instruction says use fiscal year column. It says add a page level filter to include the reports within fiscal year 2019. Use the fiscal year column instead of the recorded dates dimension, as the recorded date for an expenditure may be in a different calendar year than the fiscal year. So let me just search for the fiscal year. You can see we have one fiscal year here. I'll just drag this to the filter on this page. So I'm going to say a basic format, basic filtering, and just point to a particular date, which is the date 2019. You can see so it has filtered the reports on the page to the fiscal year 2019. Okay. So add a new measure called amount over budget to the expenditures table. So this measure should calculate the difference from the sum of the actual amount minus all the budgeted amounts. Don't forget to format this measure as a currency. So how are we going to calculate this measure now? Well, we figured that out. But amount over budgets to the expenditure table, a new measure called amount over budgets is going to be equal to, I think I need to figure out the column I'm going to be using first. So this measure should calculate the difference for the sum of actual amounts minus, so we're going to calculate the difference from the sum of actual amounts minus all the budgeted amounts. So we need to look for the actual amount, the sum of actual amounts minus all the budgeted amounts. Do you have an actual amounts column there? Sum actual amounts. We have the actual, you can see we have actual amount there. But hold up. It says this measure should calculate the difference for the sum of the actual amount minus all the budgeted amounts. So I want to do sum actual amounts minus budgeted amounts. All the sum, it said minus all the sum minus all the budgeted amounts. I think we have a budget. Let me look at some also budgeted amounts. We have the budgeted amounts here also. So hopefully we are looking for the sum, but I think this is the wrong way to calculate amount of our budget. But let's log that in first. If you look at the table view under the expenditure, we have the actual amounts here. We have the budgeted amounts here. You can see. Okay. So ours, this should be a currency. Okay. Hopefully we know that calculation pretty well. Don't forget to format this measure as a currency. Say minus all the budgeted amounts. All the budgeted amounts. Maybe we probably have a calculation, a measure separately for summing budgeted amounts. But let's go on. So add a new measure called is over budget. This should return true if the sum of actual expense exceeds the budgeted amounts. Ooh. Let's take a hint here just to double check our calculation. Oh, we actually got it though. Can see some expenditure, but amount over budget. You say this definition for amount over budget should return the sum of expenditure, actual amounts, less the sum of expenditure budgeted amounts. Change the format of the measure to a currency using the format menu on the measures tool. So we are actually correct. We are summing the actual amounts minus the sum of the budgeted amounts. Okay, that's quite straightforward there. But the next challenge here now says add a new measure called is over budgets. Okay, let's add a new measure called is over budget. So we actually got that calculation. So adding a new measure under this same expenditure, new measure, which is called is over budgets. I'm going to call this measure is over budgets. Add a new measure called is over budget. This should return true. So this is going to return true if the sum of the actual expense exceeds the budgeted amount. So you're going to say if the sum, say add a new measure called is over budget. This should return true if the sum of actual expense exceeds the budgeted amounts. Sum actual expense. Oh, do you have something called actual expense there? We don't have any column called giving us information about the actual expense. So this should return to if the sum of the actual expense. That should be actual amount also. Okay, let's look at if actual amount. Okay, let's bring the sum of actual amounts. That is the sum of the actual amounts. It says if actual amounts if the sum of the actual expense is greater than should be greater than the budgeted amount. Hmm. What the challenge we will be getting wrong is that okay, let's take a hint there. So it said so you see the sum of both sum of actual amounts minus sum of so this definition is over budget. The definition for is over budget should check if actual amount over budget, if amount over budget is greater than 0 and return 2, or so 2 or false if not. So you are going to say is over budget some expenditure actual amounts minus some expenditure budgets greater than 0. But that should show us either true or false. Okay. The definition for is over budget should check if amount over budget is greater than 0. Okay, amount over budget is greater than 0. So we're going to say if amount over budget is greater than So I don't want to create the same DAX function again, since we already have it already. Minus some expenditure actual amounts minus expenditure budget greater than 0. So we have it already. So that is our calculation is greater than 0, comma there. So it should return 2. It is simply, it should just return 2 there. Let's see. Otherwise, return false. So remember this our amount of our budget is this our calculation here. Let's see. So our amount of our budget is some expenditure amount minus some expenditure budgeted amounts. And that's what it's showing here. Some expenditure actual amount minus some expenditure budgeted amount is greater than 0. So we don't need to be writing the same formula again. Okay. Create a table visual and include the department's name. So now we have to create a table visual. Let's create a table visual somewhere here. Okay. So we're going to create a table visual. Be quick there. A table visual. So create a table visual and include the department's name. The department's name. Let's look for the department's name. Department's cost center. Cost center departments. Department codes. Let's look for name. Phone name. Day name. Okay, we don't have any name here. What are we looking for? Actually, we have department's name. Probably this is it here. Okay, our department, that should be the name. So what do we have again? So it's a create a table visual and include the department's name as well as if that department was over budget in the year 2019. Okay, we're going to add this is over budget column there. So you can see it's over budget. It's going to show false, true, or false based on our calculation. Okay. So it now says disable totals in the table. How do we do that? So disable total. So we need to disable the total from this table. So I think we are going to go to the formats pane. Uh, let's quickly search for totals. Okay, that should be under values. So we disable totals there. Under values, then you can see the total here. Okay, values. Then you see the total. Okay, total should be here. Then we switch it off. Okay, we can switch it off and switch it on there. Pretty straightforward. They now ask us to do one more step is to create a card visual which indicate the total amount of our budget. Create a card visual. Let's open a card visual. Our card visual will just be somewhere here. A card visual. Okay, let's open a card visual. So our card visual is going to show the total amount of our budgets. it says create a card visual which indicate the total amount over budget. That's why we created the calculation then for amount over budget. Okay, let's drop it on the card visual. Ooh, amount over budget. Hopefully, which it says create a card visual which indicate the total amount over budget. Total amount over budget. So we need to figure out how to calculate the total amount over budget. Okay. Total amount over budget, budgeted amounts, actual amounts. Let's see if we're actually correct. Okay, so the question now is says how much was fiscal year 2019 over budget according to the watchdog report? Format your answer as a million. Okay, let's see. That is 108.36 M. 108. Okay, let's put the dollar sign there. 108.36 M. Oh, we nailed it. That was perfect. So that's right. According to our report, expenditure in the fiscal year 2019 was 10 million, 108. That is 108.36 million higher than the budgeted, with the major difference being servicing of the debt. That is making interest payments when needed and paying down monies owed to others, typically in the form of bonds. So that was quite straightforward. That we actually nailed that real quick. So I want to create a drill through pages. That's what, okay. Let's see. Hold on a minute. Oh, okay. Few seconds there. I need to attend to an emergency real quick. I'll just reply a couple of messages. Okay, so let's move on to the second challenge, which is create drill through pages. So we would like to be able to drill down to a page containing information for a given department. We want to make this as user friendly as possible, making the experience more like navigating a web page than switching to different pages and slicing a report. So in this exercise, you will create a new department breakdown page that will link to the over budget page you created in the previous exercise. So create a new page and title it Department Breakdown. Let's create a new page in our reports. I'm going to call it Department Breakdown. So it's going to link to this over budget page just within this canvas here without having to navigate the page. So on the department breakdown page, add a line chart showing the actual amount by recorded dates. Oh, who's calling me there? Hold up. I have to pick a call real quick. Yep, I'm back. Oh, just a second. Hold up a minute. Okay, so the next challenge is to say it said on the department's breakdown page, add a line chart showing the actual amounts by recorded dates. So be sure to use the date itself rather than the hierarchical date. So we need to go to recorded date table. Let's quickly navigate to the recorded dates table and look at the columns there. So if we look at the recorded dates table, we have the dates, dates ints, dates, year and quarter, year and months, year and week, or quarter of year, months. But when you pay attention here, there's an hierarchical date here. You can see date hierarchy here. But we are told to use the actual date itself. So how do we figure out the actual date itself? Uh, this is the date hierarchy. So I could just get rid of the dates. Okay. That according to the instruction. It says dates ints. This is 2012, 0207. You can see 2012, 02, 07. But that's by the way though. Okay. You can see the actual date itself. Hmm. Okay, let's move on. We can always tweak uh it says on this part. So add a line charts. Let's open a line charts. So the line charts, we have a line charts here. So on the line charts, we have to drop in showing the actual amounts. The actual amounts. I can just search for the actual amounts. So we have the actual amounts. Then we need to spread the actual amounts across a, a period of time. That should be the dates. Mm, we have the date hierarchy, but we can actually use the date itself rather than the date hierarchy. So if I click on dates, okay, I think this should make sense. But see, you see hierarchy or using the date hierarchy, right? Okay, let me delete the day, month, quarter, year. Then I won't have any dates in the box there. So what's the way forward? Dates. What about the dates hints? That's not the dates to use. Hmm. I think the dates that we could actually use is the day itself. Okay. Now if you're looking at the dates, oh that's okay. Let me just make use of the day itself. We can always delete. Okay, let's say we don't want the quarter, we don't want the year, the quarter, the months. We want the day itself. Okay. Let's see if this actually makes sense. So it now asks, it said be sure to use the date itself rather than the hierarchy. Remove the X and Y axis titles and add more room for the visual. Remove the X and Y axis titles. If I try to format the dates, title off, that is the Y axis title, and the X axis title off. But we're not actually sure yet if you are using the correct Y axis column. But let's move on. Below the line chart, add a tree map which shows actual amounts grouped by division and cost center. Make sure to use the cost center hierarchy without departments. Show the actual amounts value as a days label in the tree map. But I'm curious about this. It says, be sure, let me take a hint. So it says add a line chart from the visualization pane, add expenditure actual amounts on the y-axis and recorded dates as the x-axis. So when we're looking at the recorded dates, let's do it one more time. It says recorded dates. And for that, it says dates. How do you get that? By default, the x-axis value may show the date hierarchy. If so, select the down arrow on dates and choose date instead of date hierarchy in the visualization. Okay. Okay, so select the down arrow on dates and choose dates. Even if I should choose dates, it is still hierarchy. It is still using the hierarchy for it. It's not actually using the dates, okay? You can see dates. So they're saying the hierarchy here, date hierarchy. This will add the old date hierarchy, which is year, quarter, months, day. And it's not working like that. Not data. I don't think it is data. So far, I don't think it is data. It is saying dates, not data. The instruction says dates. I really have this recorded dates amount here. If I click on dates, can you see? And there's no way if I choose only the date record here, is it going to give me the hierarchy for those? Okay. If I say date hierarchy, I think we should move on though. I can just drill up and just drill down. So you see, I could just drill down to the day. Since this is still better, then what I could just do is All right. Thank you, Sufad. So what I could just do, just follow back with the instruction. I'm removing the y-axis. So there's probably a mistake here. Probably that's because the Power BI visual is actually updated. So you can't actually choose the actual dates. The hierarchy still take precedence over. If I should try to remove the day, month, quarter, and year, it won't keep the dates, the recorded date actually, except I go back to this date section here. I think that is the actual hierarchy date. Yes, you can see the dates, dates ints, dates name. This column, you can see this column is the dates that has been put into the hierarchy. So that was the challenge there. But let's move on though. Okay. So it now says, so below the line chart, add a tree map which shows actual amounts. Okay, we have add a tree map. This is a tree map right here. So the tree map should show actual amounts, the actual amounts group by division and cost center. Actual amounts. So this is actual amount. We also group it by division. Division. So can see division is grouped already. So group by division and cost center. Make sure to use the cost center hierarchy. Okay, division and cost center. I see cost center. We have the cost center hierarchy here. Okay. You see, so we have a column division and the cost center hierarchy here. Okay. Make sure to use the cost center hierarchy without departments. Okay, without the departments, I could just get rid of the departments here. Okay, so we have the division, cost center, division, and cost center. Okay. So show the actual amount value as a data label in the tree map. Show the actual amount value as a data label. Okay, we have to show it as a data. I'll just select the tree map, go to the format tab, and put on data labels. Because it's going to show the actual amount as a data label on the tree map. So let's make more room for this. Probably just make this line chart a little bit smaller and make our tree map a little bit bigger. Okay. So add departments to the drill through field on the page. If the back button interferes with the line chart visual, modify the setup and make everything visible. So okay, we just make the line chart visual more tiny here. It says add department to the drill through fields on the page. Okay, let's bring this up. What is the drill through field on the page? Oh, there's not any drill through field here, but let's be patient and take a look. Let's take a hit. Okay, so now we get to the visualization pane. See the box. There's no box here for drill through. So since Power BI is updated, there's nothing like drill through here. Okay, okay. There's supposed to be a drill through button here for this to work fine. but I doubt if there is. So what can we do now? Because each visual now you can just when I look, okay, let me just rewatch the video real quick because I saw you can
Well,
see the difference here. So I'm supposed to look for this deal through button here, values without actually selecting anything.
welcome to the first demo. Let's start by taking a quick peek at our dataset, which will be quite different from the one you will use.
I think this should be here. If I select the format pane, I should see the drill through here. Wow, nothing here. Is it I'm selecting a visual? That shouldn't be so. I'm not supposed to be selecting a visual for the drill through to be visible. But I think it is now different now. If I go to the navigation, you can see the back button here. You can see that it has been added here. So the back button is actually different now. So this is all we needed to do. But to do it back then is now different. Well, I don't think we could actually make use of the drill through feature here again. No, let me just rewatch the video real quick here and see how you did it here.
So let's add a. So next day. That bar chart is a little tight, so let's give it some room by removing the y-axis title. To do that, navigate to the Format, drill into the y-axis, and turn off the title. It's still a tight fit, so we will select the table and right-click on the number of violations, renaming it just for this visual to Violations. This overview page is acceptable for now. So next up, let's create a new page called Inspection Report. This will take a drill through field, inspection key.
So this is what we needed to do here. But the latest version of Power BI, I don't think this is. Hold up. But when it was doing it,
Report. This will take a drill through field, inspection key. Note that adding a drill through field automatically creates a back button for us. We'll talk a bit more about buttons in later videos.
so about the version of Power BI, I don't think you can do that anymore. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. But I kind of find a way to add the back button. Probably they want us just to add the back button without needing that drill to. Let's do so. So navigate to the over budget page, find the fire and rescue CIP on the departments table and drill through to the department breakdown page. Drill down into the firefighting equipment division on division 1 level. Okay, navigate back to the over budget. Let's see if we can just do that. Navigate back to the over budget. Okay, I have to use the control and click on my keyboard. Okay. It now says find fire and rescue CIP on the departments table. Fire and rescue CIP. How do you do that? Fire and rescue CIP. There is it here. Okay. Fire and rescue CIP. And drill through to the department's breakdown page. Oh, okay. Fire and rescue CIP. Let's click that. Oh, I don't think that is working. Even though I click the fire and rescue CIP, right from here. So it's not drilling down to this departmental breakdown view. Oh, so find the fire and rescue CIP on the department's table and drill through to the department's breakdown page. Okay. But in this challenge now, we can't actually, let's take a hint. It says navigate to the visualization pane to see the box for drill through fields. We can't see it here again. It's not possible. Visualization pane is now called build visual pane. Okay, let me search for drill through here. It's saying bookmarks. Currently is bookmark as drill through. Oh, can see all the button we can insert here. Except want to add the page navigator. There's no way you can add the drill through feature here. That is challenging part here. Hmm. Okay. So the feature we want is not available within this interface in Power BI. So we can't actually do well with this tags here. If I click on drilling here, drill through, I can't find it in this interface also. So some part of the course here is actually outdated and the DataCamp team needs to update this part of the course also. Or else I won't be able to perform some of the tasks. Okay. Say how much did Wake County spend on 4th of September in 2018 on the call center fire on milk? So there's no way I could answer this question correctly now. Okay, this is Wake County here. Is this here? I could still see it here. Hopefully that's the correct answer though, based on what we've done so far, based on the visual that we've done here, based on the formatting and all that. Okay, Wake County. Let's just type that in. Hopefully, we know that. So, how much did Wake County spend on the 4th of September 2018 on the Coast Center Fire 80 MHZ OM milk? So, what I could just do is how much did Wake County spend on the 4th of September? So, so let's add this Wake County Public School first. 837.97 M. 837. 837.97. Hopefully, that's absolutely wrong. So we need to, how much did Wake County spend on the 4th of September in 2018? So we need to drill down to that particular year, 2018, or filter on this page, physical year. So I need to filter down to the year 2018. So we see our Wake County here. Then also it says, how much did Wake County spend on the 4th of September 2018 on the course center fire 800 mAh? Okay, course center. Let's add filter on this page also. Course center. So I'm trying to find a way to answer that question. Course center. So the course center is called what? Fire 800. Fire 800. Search Fire 800. This is it here. Filter. Oh, okay. Okay, but I need to filter down to the department also. See the department of Wake County. Okay, this is not the department. That is the cost center. Okay, we have the cost center here. So what about the Wake County? Which information is giving us the Wake County information? But let me remove this one first. Wake County Public School. I think that okay, that's the division. I think that is the division there. Okay, if you add a division here, let's add a division to the page filter. Division. So I could just search for Wake County. Wake County, this is it here. You can see Wake County, okay. So if you filter down to the year 2018, Wake County. But we need one more filter here. 4th of September 2018. Let's get 208.09 million. 208.09. That is wrong. So I need to filter down to the month 4th of September. If I scroll down, let me select this. For this 2018, I could just select the year 2018. Then September, this January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. There's no September here. You can see the month for the year 2018 is just so that is so I can't even figure out there's no month for September, 4th of September. What if it's actually $0? That is wrong. So there's no way we could figure this out because there's actually a challenge in the steps. So I'll just we could just get rid of it and skip it. So there's no way to solve this part of the challenge. That's the unfair part. That's not fair. That's not fair. So we just move on to the last, third and final part. Hopefully we know that without facing any challenge. And this is not our fault though, and that's because the course is not yet updated to the correct. So the course is not yet updated. Hopefully this last challenge would have any visualizing over time, any issue with the instruction. So the pattern breakdown page looks good, but we believe that visualizing changes over time would provide some interesting insight about the data. To that effect, we would like to see per cost center a plot of the number of expenditures versus amount spent. So broken down by department, by month and year. So let's see, this should be easy to do. Navigate to the departmental breakdown page and clear any trimmer filters you may have applied. and or drill up to the level of the hierarchy. Okay, navigate to the departmental breakdown page and clear any tree map filter you may have selected. Any tree map filter. We don't have any tree map filter here. I say I want to clear all this here. So we don't have any tree map filter. If we just do back up, because we didn't apply any filter actually, as we're not able to solve that challenge there. So let's move on though. Hopefully we could just solve this last part of the challenge without facing any issue. Add a measure of core number of expenditures, which should be the amount of the check number. Create a new measure in expenditure table. Okay, reduce the size of the trimmer, making it available 40 to 50% of the space. To that space, add a scatter chart comparing the number of expenditure on the y-axis versus actual amount on the x-axis by cost center, with each cost center showing in the legends. Add the recorded year and the months player to the play axis for the scatter plots. Note that this is a single field in the recorded dimension. I think we are going to do this later due to the fact that we're not able to solve the previous challenge ourselves. And that's because this drill through feature. I think the solution is I could have just simply used this Power BI interface here. You can see the Power BI interface. Let me just switch off my camera real quick there. There's the Power BI interface here. Can you see? So I'm using this Power BI interface. This is the old version of Power BI. Right here within this interface. You can see that if I drop in any visual here, I still have this my drill through feature here. This was what I needed for this challenge. I'll probably come on a next live stream and solve this because we actually spent more than an hour. But I always prefer to make use of my own Power BI, the latest version of Power BI, so I could easily see where these features are available, where they are, or they are not available. We need this Power BI interface here, the actual Power BI interface. Because the DataCamp team, we keep using the old version of Power BI for you to take the course. But that's by the way, though. I think we just stop here and complete this last part of the course on tomorrow's live stream or outside this scope of this live stream. That's by the way, though. All right, so thanks for staying to the end of the live stream. Sorry about the little challenge we faced there. I never thought that I'll just make use of the integrated Power BI interface on the DataCamp platform. I always prefer to use the latest version of Power BI so I could test new tools within the Power BI interface. But not to be standing, I'll just go back off live stream and practice myself. But you could see the challenge yourself on the screen. Just make sure to follow the instruction and try to do it. Probably you have access to the old version of Power BI to solve the challenge on this particular live stream. That's by the way though, but actually that's a cool knowledge to have. So thanks for staying to the end of the live stream. Do well to support the channel by giving this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you on day 57 as we continue on report building in Power BI. Do have a wonderful day.